Yeah, my mom is excited about the whole national anthem thing. The only thing that she's told me was, I want to see you standing there in that line while the national anthem is going. My mom tells me when I'm playing the domestic matches which are not being relayed, my dad sits and looks at the scoreboard, every single ball. He wants to know every single ball that's happening. To be coming from that kind of a family who gives you so much love and affection, nothing like it.
Here we go.
Hey Prasidh, how's it going, man? I see the RR admin has been keeping you busy with various tasks. How's the body? How's the mind? All of it feeling before a big phase in your career?
Yeah, I think it's all been good. Obviously, like you said, admin kept us quite busy and entertained through the quarantine. And then after that, cricket's been started with RR. It's been very good. Getting to have a lot of fun on and off the field. So good start to my RR life here.
I know many years ago you shared an Instagram post. The quote said, "Our phones fall, we panic. Our friends fall, we laugh." Is that still true?
Yeah, obviously. I think back in the day, I posted that when I was in my second PUC or my degree. I think, yeah, back in the day, phones, for me at least, I got my first phone after I got into my 11th class. Until then, I didn't really have a phone. I mean, I'm glad we had generations like that. Now when I sit and talk to the youngsters like that we usually realize how much they are missing out on in terms of the before the technology took over era. So I'm glad I've gone through all of that.
I love that you call Devdutt the youngster. Somewhere, some other generation. I love it, man. Superb. Yeah. It's funny, right? When I think of you, I think back to your KPL days. I remember commentating on the KPL and, seeing this really calm, chilled out guy, playing in his home state of Karnataka, really comfortable surroundings as well. Suddenly, since then, you've become this tearaway fast bowler for India in the largest T20 league in the world. But you're still sort of this guy who's just chilled out, unassuming, loving life a little bit, but you seem to have it all sorted. Is that sort of a fair assumption of who Prasidh is today?
Yes, I think what you said was absolutely right. I mean, I've grown in terms of cricket here, obviously, since you've seen me when I started playing KPL and all that. Since then, there's a lot of experience that I've gained and a lot of maturity. And being calm and composed is something that always fascinated me because I watch a lot of sports as well. So people, especially Roger Federer and people like that, that it's an individual game, singles, finals. There are so many people sitting around cheering. I know now that I've played the game at the highest level, I know what pressure feels like. So I think to be calm there is itself standing out because pressure is something that not everybody goes through, and I'm glad I'm in a place where we play sport, we go through the whole pressure thing every day in, day out.
And you're dealing with it really, really well from what all of us have seen. Look, you had this transition, right? You went through the phases. You had your under-19s, then you played for Karnataka, then KPL. You made your first-class debut after that. What was this journey like along the way? When did you start to realize that things were clicking for you and you had greater things in store?
Yes, I think my first year of KPL, when I got in, I was in a fairly new kind of setup. I hadn't played much cricket. I just played 1 year of under-19, and in the whole season, I just played 2 games. So hadn't really seen much of cricket. But then the KPL, obviously being a big stage, playing against the best of the state, and things went well. And later on, I went on to make my first-class debut. They got a fifer. I mean, it happened. Whatever happened. And then that is when I actually realized there's something in me if I start working a little harder, be a little smarter, especially forget the skill part of it, but the mindset part of it. I think I am a very keen observer. I see a lot of people, I observe a lot of things and pick up the things that I like. So I think very small things, I always feel it's the 1%ers that make a champion. So I pay a lot of importance to such things.
You talked about that fifer on debut, right? Like, obviously for any young guy, playing for Karnataka in that team especially was mad. But then to get a fifer on debut, how much confidence did a young Prasidh Krishna at that time take from that moment? Because it's a top-class moment.
So I still remember the previous day we had practice, and I bowled the whole practice session, to be honest, because I didn't think I would play. And in the morning, I think somebody was not 100% fit. Obviously, when I wasn't there, the big names weren't there. And then I didn't even know I was playing. To be honest, I hadn't even taken my half sleeves whites. So I was thinking I'm going to be giving running drinks and just had the full sleeves. Morning 8:15, somebody called me. They said, this is going to be a first-class debut. I borrowed a t-shirt from one of my teammates. Ended up bowling first. My first ball, I got a wicket, and everything happened. I think before lunch, I had a fifer. That's when I actually realized, the amount of hunger. Obviously, the previous day in the nets, I was bowling the whole day because I wanted to prove something. I wanted to show people that I was good.
Yeah.
Because I was young, nobody knew me. To be honest, nobody knew. Even today, Karun asked me, where were you when we were playing under 19? Because I came fairly late. I think 17, 18 is when I got into the whole Karnataka circuit. So I think that hunger that I had back in the day, all that I try and do is have the same kind of hunger every time I get into a game or a new team, because I know that's what got me to where I am today. So
How do you keep that hunger, man? I mean, does it get harder? Does it get easier as time goes on, as you get more success?
depends on how you look at it. Sometimes, for me, it works the other way around. When I'm playing IPL and when I go back to play my state games, my league games, I am under more pressure because there's a reputation I'm playing for. Prasidh Krishna, IPL player, is the tag that I would have when I go there. And then when I go there and somebody hits me for a boundary, I know the first thing he's going to go and say is, I hit Prasidh for a boundary, he's nothing. It was really easy for me. So I think it worked that way for me, I think, and it's the right way. So obviously it comes down to the way you're thinking about the game.
You seem to be someone that just loves to take the opportunity with both hands, right? And maybe, as you said, it's that hunger that you had, because even the way you moved into the biggest T20 league in the world, you were an injury replacement for Calmness, if I'm not wrong. And, that was in 2017. What was that phase like? Because you talked about how, you didn't even realize you were going to make your first class debut. What was this phase like, making that T20 debut with Kolkata?
Yeah, very similar. I had been to Kolkata for trials. I think the tournament started 3rd or 4th of April. I was there between 30th and 2nd March. I went back. I still remember we were in my friend's place watching RCB versus KKR. Obviously, I was supporting RCB because I was from Bangalore. I don't remember what happened to the match. The same evening, I went back home. I got a call from Venki Mysore, and he said, please come down. We have an injury. You mostly are the replacement. So there were guests at home. I couldn't tell at home. I had to wait for a couple of hours until they left, and then everything happened. But the great thing was I had a great season before that. We ended up winning Vijay Hazare without the big three that Karnataka always boasts in terms of pace bowling. So I was coming off a very good tournament. And when I went there, when I bowled to the best of the best in the league, it just made me feel that yes, I belong here. I think that was one of the most important things. And then from there, no stopping. And I'm big on being confident and believing in you're the best. When I feel if you don't think you're the best, why would the next thing call you the best? So that kind of attitude also helped me there.
What is different about the setup this time, Prasidh? Obviously, you've had a lot of big time experience now. What's different about the setup that you're in at the moment?
I think this setup is very easy. The responsibility is given to the players. There are a lot of leaders in the team in terms of not the ones that have actually accomplished at the highest levels, but then on the fringe kind of leaders who have a lot of potential in them. And we all know we have a great side. We have Jos here, who's obviously captain England, who's played the best white ball cricket for quite some time now, and Sangha, Lasith Malinga. Yeah. All of these guys are legends that we always grew up looking up to. And when RR announced Lasith's going to be here, I think I was the one who was most excited because I wanted to spend some time with one of the legends of the game and learn a lot of the game in terms of experiences and what they've felt at the top of the mark when facing certain pressure situations. So I'm glad all of this is happening, and I'm looking forward to it.
First scalp, Rohit Sharma. Just tell us how good that felt, man. Let's just be honest. That must have been a great feeling.
Yes, it was obviously wonderful to be getting Rohit Sharma. I think that was a planned wicket. I actually thought having Minofa bowling a slower one wide, he might hit it up in the air, and it all worked out.
You've talked a couple of times about how you're not a numbers guy, right? You don't look at the numbers, you focus on the process. You've been speaking to a number of people, observing. Who are some of those guys that you speak to? What do you observe specifically from them, do you think?
I think my father's been very close friend of mine in terms of discussing all that I feel, and also I've grown up looking up to him because he's also been somebody who's very calm. The way the family runs itself is like that. There's never been very exciting days or very low days. So I think it's been a balance that way. He's somebody, and with cricket, I was glad I had the whole staff at KKR. I think Omkar Salvi is somebody who I speak to a lot in terms of bowling, and now that Lasith Malinga is here, in the 3-4 days that we've spoken a lot about bowling. And yeah, even in the Indian team, I think Karnataka being such a good team, I really have teammates who will give me real honest opinions about what's happening, what can be done. be it the Karnataka state guys, Karun Devdutt here, or Mayank Kale when I'm with the Indian team, as to what's happening when I'm bowling, what can be better tactically on the ground. So I think there are various people that help me. And
You know, when that India call-up did happen, right? It's a dream, obviously, for any youngster, for any person who has held a bat or a ball in our country. It is the biggest dream. How did it happen for you? Did it take you by surprise? Just take us through the process, right? Because I think for a lot of fans listening, for the millions that are tuning in, they would love to know what you actually were up to. How did you even find out that you were being picked to play for India? What was that time like?
I think I got a call. There was nobody at home. Me and my sister, WhatsApp, unknown number. And that was Girish sir, the manager. He asked me for the clothing sizes. I didn't even know who he was because obviously I was not part of the team. And then he said, yeah, you will have to travel to Ahmedabad. The team was playing T20s back there and the ODIs were in Pune. I ended up going there. We were quarantining. I think it was the 5th day. I've been waiting every single day for the news to come out. Obviously, we're not allowed to say it out in the public.
Yeah.
And every single day I'm waiting. I think it was the 3rd day when I texted Girish sir saying, when will the team be announced? He said, I have no idea. To hear that from him, I think it was a surprise. Finally, and the news ended up coming out on the 5th day and I got all the calls. And yeah, it was exciting. And the fact that I knew I was picked and nobody else in the public, in the media knew, actually kept me nervous thinking, why is it taking so long? What's happening? But it was all fun in the end. We had a day of practice and then ended up playing the next day.
Are you a good secret keeper, Prasidh?
Yes, I think I am. I can keep things to myself. Myself as in people who tell me secrets, we end up discussing between each other. But then I think I am. Should be good there, yeah.
What was the reaction like from your family? Because not just for you, right? It's a huge moment for you, proud moment for you. But for your family, I'm sure they've all sacrificed a lot to see where you're at. What was the reaction like from them?
Yeah, my mom was very, very excited. She's played a bit of sports as well. She's played volleyball in her university days and all of that. So she's somebody who always is excited about the whole national anthem thing. The only thing that she's told me was, I want to see you standing there in that line while the national anthem is going. I think that is something that excites her. And my dad has my mom tells me when I'm playing the domestic matches which are not being relayed, my dad sits and looks at the scoreboard, every single ball. He wants to know every single ball that's happening. And I'll be thinking, who even has so much patience? So I think to be coming from that kind of a family who gives you so much love and affection, nothing like it.
And let's not forget, you had the best figures by an Indian on ODI debut. Fantastic performance versus England. You picked up Roy, Stokes, Billing, Curran. I mean, impressive wickets to go into your tally as well. What did that day just mean for you, Prasidh? Because it's a day you obviously waited for a long time, man.
Like I said, again, I'm not somebody who's very big on numbers. I didn't even know until I got back and KL told me that that's the best figures for a debutant. So I'm very happy about that as well.
You know, unlike your India call-up where you couldn't call anyone, couldn't share it with anyone, the excitement, who were the first people you called after that day? Because clearly that was public knowledge. The whole world saw that performance from you.
Yeah, so I think it was late in the night, 12:30 is when I got back and the whole family was waiting for me. I had to come down, I had to stay, I had to be in the same clothes. They wanted to see me wearing those India colors and all of that. And then we had a long chat for half an hour, 45 minutes and then went back to sleep. So it is something that's going to be in memory forever.
Has that become a bigger factor now, as you said, right? Because today, when someone comes up to you, there's always, you would think, is there an agenda? Do you want something from Prasidh Krishna? To have these strong bonds that go back such a long way, so deep. I mean, how important is that for you, man?
I think absolutely important. That's what I keep telling all these guys. We always have a discussion in the Karnataka team as well because the team today, all of us sit together, believe it or not, all the 15, 20 of us right now, we sit together, we have a very, very good time. So all that we speak is there ever going to be a day where this is not going to happen, be it at our 30s, 32, when we're at the end of our careers? Will this ever not happen? So I think all of us realize that it is very, very important, and I hope all the relationship that I have with people is going to stay as long as it can.
You know, and obviously that's the mental side of it, right? On the skill set side of things, you've become this hit the deck that can shape the ball away, come back in if you needed to as well. How long did that take to master? Because, you know, I remember reading somewhere that said you took your time understanding how to actually control the ball and make it do what you wanted to do. How did that change come about? Who helped you with that change? Like
I said, Omkar Salvi is somebody who I've closely worked with for the last 4 years. He's somebody who knows my bowling in and out. Anything technical, I obviously go to him. And like I said, the people that I've met, even Bumrah, he's big on skill. He says, He's told me that a bowler should be able to do everything. Lasith mentioned the same thing a couple of days back as well. When the team wants you to bowl a particular ball, in the game, you cannot say, I cannot bowl this. You should be prepared enough, or you should have the skill to be doing it. That is what makes you a successful bowler.
You know, it's strange, right? Because fundamentally, you're doing the same thing. You're still running up from the same mark. You're pretty much charging in the same way, and you're trying to hit your spots. But it's so different, isn't it? With every format that you're playing, you've got Ranji Trophy cricket, you've got, say, the KPL, you've got the IPL setups as well. How different is that challenge? Just take us through maybe each step of it, right? What changes in your approach, Prasidh, when you're, say, playing the longer format to playing not perhaps the largest or the biggest T20 league, or then playing the KPL, for instance?
So if I have to compare formats, personally for me, the room in a Ranji Trophy game in terms of the line that I bowl is slightly more compared to when I'm playing T20s, because for me, lengths are going to still remain the same, but then in Ranji Trophy, I have a lot more room to try and swing the ball because I have 3-4 slips. There's more chance of him edging the ball. The red ball does a lot more. So as the format shortens, I think the whole picture comes closer. One-day cricket is very, very similar. Obviously, you have those extra few overs that you have in your kitty that you still have time to make a comeback. But then when you come to T20s, it is one single line in the same length. The margin is very, very small, and the more you hit the same mark, the better it's going to be. And obviously, the batsman is going to try and do something against you. He is trying to be aggressive. So it is also about outsmarting the batsman here in the T20 format. Playing IPL, the time that you have to make a decision feels very less because of the whole atmosphere that's around you, the crowd, the kind of batsman that you're facing, all these things. So the better players are obviously the ones that make better decisions in very short amount of time. So mentally, I look at it that way.
Prasidh, we're here talking about greatness. I know it's a big, big word for a sports person. Every sports person wants to get as close to it as they possibly can. What does greatness mean to you? I know it's a loaded question. Take your time.
Greatness is, I think, the ability to be humble and the same person that you are behind closed doors. Within, if you can be the same person outside when you're playing the game, if you can maintain that balance of being calm under situations. Like I said, if you are able to make a decision bowling the last over of an IPL final, the same way as to making a decision when nobody is watching, you have so much time. If you can replicate that in the final ball of the tournament, I think mentally you are in a really great state of greatness, because if you can replicate the whole situation of having a lot of time when there's actually no time, I think you've gone a long way.
Prasidh, what would achieving greatness mean to you? I mean, on the cricket field or otherwise, right? I don't just mean your cricketing achievements, but you're someone who seems to have a very holistic view on life. How much would it mean to achieve greatness in your mind?
Greatness is very relative. I think for me, to have the same kind of life, to be able to do what I'm doing today on and off the field, to have content, to have when I'm done playing cricket, I should be in a state of, yes, this is what I could do. I've given it my all, and it's all done. I've put it all on the field, and there's nothing that I have remaining within me to give for cricket. So I think if I get to such a place by the end of my career, I think I would have achieved greatness. No matter what level of cricket I would have ended up playing by then. But then if I have the feeling I've given it my all, I think that is greatness for me.
What's the guilty pleasure of Prasidh Krishna when it comes to the food department?
Obviously, sweets and ice creams. Death by Chocolate by Corner House is something that I crave for, yeah.
No Empire Biryani and all that.
Biryani comes second, but I think this tops the list. Biryani obviously is one of my favorites as well, but then this is something that biryani at least I can have. It's not something that I try and avoid having. I still have biryanis once in a while, but then sweets is something I try and not have at all, so that's a bigger craving for me.
What do you think you need to do to be that the version of yourself that you really, really think you can attain?
I think I am the best version of myself that I can be today, but then best is not the end, so I think there is a lot more that I can get better at.
Yeah, I'm sure as well. Look, you're now a part of this elusive 10 crore club as well. It's a sign obviously of what you bring to a team in today's day and age when you speak of money and an auction as well. How does a life-changing sum of money like that change your life? What does it do for you, Prasidh?
I don't know. It's made absolutely no difference as of now. So even in my mind, even when I got picked for whatever I got picked for, it doesn't make anything because before the auction I knew for a matter of fact the amount of money that you get in IPL does not determine what kind of a player you are at all. So as of now, it's not made any difference. Obviously, it gives you some stability mentally. You don't really think about the other financial side of life, which is obviously great if I have to be neutral and speak about it. But otherwise, it's not made any difference at all to me.
That's very, very refreshing to hear, man. That's really, really refreshing. I want to just take you back to your 18-year-old self, right? If you could send an SMS or a message back to your 18-year-old Prasidh Krishna, what advice would you dole out? What words of wisdom would you give that 18-year-old?
I think I've had a wonderful teenage. I've done everything possible. I've done the worst of things. I've been the most mischievous guy in the group. I've been the most obedient guy for a teacher. I've done it all. I think that's a tick mark to my teenage. I wouldn't really tell anything to him at all.
Prasidh, what does the future look like for you in terms of cricket? Would you prefer a long career with no World Cups, or would you prefer a short one with a World Cup or a World Test Championship to your name?
I've already mentioned I won't be playing cricket until 35, so it clearly means I'm here to make an impact. I want to win things. I want to be as effective as possible in the number of games that I play. I don't really want to play for long and be that person who's created a legacy in terms of the number of games that he played, but I want to be cutthroat. I want to be sharp. I want to be effective. That's all.
Prasidh, it's been awesome, and I hope you continue to be quick, be short and sharp with your bowling as well as your wit and your answers as well. Enjoy the chat.
Absolutely. I think one of the best talks that I've ever had. Thank you so much, Sunil.
Have a great day, man. We'll catch up soon.
Yes, you too. Bye-bye.